Hey, what's up, guys? Kangaroo here. Today I wanted to bring you guys a video about different gear setups and what gear setups I think you should be running when, and just talk about like generally what's the best, even in budget situations or when you're trying to go in a little juicier, what kind of gear you should be running. I may briefly touch, like tier 6 if you're like going crazy, but I don't think that's a good idea, and I don't think it's necessary. The only time I think it might be necessary or might be an okay idea is if you're like a 4 stack and, all four of you guys are going to do it. But even then, it's not going to save you to red ammo. So um, just be prepared to lose a lot of money if you try to do that. So anyways, I think there's a couple things to talk about before we can really talk about what gear is best. I think the first thing I'm going to talk about is headsets. So I personally run the GS2s a lot. I like the strong sound pickup. The medium noise reduction works just fine for me. I don't have a problem with that. A lot of people will instead jump down to the Commander, and I think this is a mistake, and I'm going to tell you why. The Commander, medium sound pickup, strong noise reduction, okay? Here's my problem with this. I already am okay with the medium noise reduction, and so I don't see why I would go a little bit cheaper to go up in noise reduction when I'm fine with the medium already, and then go down in sound pickup. At that point, it seems to me you'd be better off just to go, medium, because I'm already okay with the medium. So why pay double for just more noise reduction that I'm not normally used to anyways? It's not like I need that. So these would be my two preferred headsets. I know people like these, personal preference. Some people like, the different sound profiles of these headsets, but these would be my two personal preference. So 99% of the time I'm going in with GS2s. You can get these off of the trade from the contact, usually around 40, 50K. But I do buy them outright too, just because I think that for the extra 40,000 that it costs to wear these, it's going to save you your entire kit so many times. You're going to hear someone before they can hear you. You're going to crouch down, get quiet, and they're going to run right by you and you can shoot them, So if this just saves you your $1 million kit or $500,000 kit one time, it is made up for like 10 headsets. So I think it's personally worth it. But everyone may not feel that way. If you don't like these, I would say jump down to mediums. And I would say most of the time you're not actually going to jump down to these mediums, where you're going to jump down to a ricochet helmet if you're going to go cheaper anyways. And we'll talk about that in a second. So the next thing that I want to talk about is armor and how worth it is. And this is my viewpoint on armor, okay? So I think, first of all, I don't think there's a good reason to go no armor at all, because at the very least, you could hop in like something like this that's going to have upper, lower abdomen. And the only reason to do this would be, A, it's super duper cheap, and B, if somebody is running leg meta, they're not going to one tap you to the chest. This will actually like surprisingly tank like 7 shots of leg meta because they have tier 0 ammo and you're in tier 1. But if you're never running into leg meta, if you're playing a map where people just don't play leg meta, then I could see just going naked if you're just trying to go, get quests done. But for the price, it's really hard for me to just pass up just that little bit of protection against leg meta ammo. You can even go tier 2, but there's none of them that cover your abdomen, which I think if someone's running leg meta, they're more likely to accidentally shoot your lower abdomen. So I feel a little bit better and it's a little bit cheaper to run the tier 1, especially if I'm running like TV station or something that I know people are going to be running leg meta a lot. Personal preference, completely up to you. As far as a little bit higher tier armor, I don't think armor is even worth considering in this game unless you are buying tier 5. People may disagree with me here, but hear me out. To be effective, you have to outclass their armor. So if they're running tier 4 ammo, tier 4 armor does almost nothing. The difference between killing someone if they're in a tier 4 armor takes 3 bullets, okay? If they're in no armor at all, it takes 2 bullets. That's not enough of a difference for me to justify $166,000 or even, $100,000, let's say, or 150. It's not enough. To me, I'd rather run one naked run and the next raid run a tier 5 and I'm spending the same amount of money, and then one of those raids, if someone's running tier 4 ammo, I can tank 7 bullets instead of 3, you know? So to me, it makes more sense that tier 4 is almost never worth wearing unless you like get one off of a, you know, a kit or something that you can't sell it on the market. You have to wear it in to remove the, you know, the symbol where you can't trade it. And even then, I'll wear it in for one raid, and if I come out and it's not damaged and stuff, I'll just take it off and sell it in the market, go naked. I don't think tier 4 armor is worth it in almost any scenario. And you might say, oh, sometimes you run into people with tier 3 ammo. If you're running into someone with tier 3 ammo, they're probably not very good. They probably don't fully understand this game, and they're probably, doesn't matter if you die to them, your armor wasn't going to save you. You just made a bad play, because those players usually aren't very knowledgeable about the game. So, and that's another big thing, is like armor does not save you in this game. Like your positioning, how smart you play is what wins you fights. Your armor sometimes will help you, but it's really not, you can't depend on armor in this game. It's just not, it's not that crazy. Headshots are too strong. Like red ammo is just too strong. Like it's not great. So yeah, invest your money in a tier 5 if you're going to wear armor, or wear something that'll block leg meta just because it's so cheap. Why not? Okay. Now, as far as helmets go, I think the opposite is true. Tier 4 is worth it in helmets, I think. And again, my reasoning would be that with tier 4 armor, you're not making enough of a difference, right? But with a tier 4 helmet, if someone's running tier 4 ammo and you get headshot, normally, if you had no helmet at all, or if you had a tier 3 helmet, you'd get one tapped. But with a tier 4, you can tank one shot to the head, which is huge, I think. So personally, most raids that I'm going in, and I'm going in, you know, and spending a little money on my kit, I'm running a tier 5 chest rig and a tier 4 helmet with a tier 4 mask. And that's 99% of the time what I'm wearing if I'm serious about my kit. Okay. I think tier 5 helmets are a little too expensive. I don't think they're worth it, because you're going to get one tapped in the head with red ammo. The only thing I would say, like, tier 5 helmets are sometimes worth it would be in lockdown, because people are not running as much red ammo. But if you are in, if you're in Forbidden especially, don't waste your time. You're just going to get one tapped and lose your helmet. Like, run a Ricochet helmet. You'd be much better off. And that brings me to my next point. If you don't want to invest in a tier 4 helmet, a tier 4 mask, tier 5 helmet, tier 5 mask, you should be running a Ricochet helmet at the very least. I don't think you should ever go in this game with no helmet. I cannot tell you the number of times that this helmet right here, tier 2, $6,000, has bounced a sniper who's running tier 6 ammo, and it's a tier 2 helmet, and the only reason is because the Ricochet chance is high. And that goes the same for the safety helmet. Ricochet chance is high. And probably one of the best values in the whole game as far as running budget. This helmet right here, the SH12, okay? High ricochet chance, tier 3, medium noise reduction, medium sound pickup. You know, we talked about if you're going to go down from the GS2s, I think you should go medium. Here's your medium, right? Here's your high ricochet chance. If you go on the market and put, I'll just show you. You go to the market, go to helmets, put it on worn, because remember, all we care about is the ricochet chance on this helmet, right? We don't care about the armor. The tier 3 is not going to stop anything. 22,000. That is cheaper than the medium headset. You're getting a ricochet helmet and ears. I'll come in here and I'll just crank this up to 5, purchase 5 of them, 5 games in a row. I can throw on a ricochet helmet. This is protections of head and ears. So this helmet is great. If you're not willing to spend more money, if you want to spend 20 grand instead of 150 grand on your helmet, this is the way to go. If you can deal with not having GS2s, this is the way to go. This is like the budget king, I think. This will save you so much. You will not believe how many times you will bounce shots. You won't believe it till you try it. Like, you'll bounce shots like crazy, okay? So, yeah, that would be my thoughts on helmets, and I guess now I'll just go ahead and show you guys what I would be running in a raid, and I'll just start out with like complete budget. Like, obviously you could run naked, but I'm not gonna talk about that. Let's just go with budget, as cheap as I would go into a raid. Okay, the very cheapest I'm going is a worn tier 3. You can go no body armor, but I usually prefer to just at least go a 1, maybe even a 2. Let's just say 1 for this matter. The BH chest rig, just the cheapest chest rig with the most slots. You can get a little drippy and pay 5k for the big dog here, but you know, save the money. And then as far as backpack goes, I mean, just if you need to get into like you know, forbidden and you're trying to up your loot value, you know, you're gonna have to take a big backpack to get yourself over that loot value, including your gun. But if you're not, you know, I mean, this is okay for loot runs. It kind of sucks that you can't put anything 4x4 in there, but not too bad for loot runs. I do really like the AMP assault for a little bit cheaper than these big bags. It's, you know, probably the best smaller bag in the game. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can run. If you're running really cheap, you can run here, but really you just got to look through the backpacks and kind of pick out what fits your needs. You know, most people don't like this because of the size. I don't prefer the ones that restrict me from putting more rigs in and stuff like this, but you know, take your pick. We're just going to stick with AMP assault right now. And then we don't need a headset because it's built in. So this would be my budget run. I'm going in to get some quests done. I'm throwing on a cheap gun. This is what I'm going in with, okay? And we're at 130k to buy, 118 equipment value, okay? So now I'm going to go through and, well, I should say that there's definitely times too that I will opt out of this helmet, go with this, and go with the GS2s, okay? I do like the GS2s more. If I have a pair or if I have the barter available, I can get them real cheap. I'm running this, okay? I'm running this sometimes more than the other helmet just because I really like the GS2s, but it's more expensive. Completely up to you what you want to do, okay? So now let's talk about if I'm running a little bit more expensive. I am probably running, and I don't know why people, some people always are running this tier 4 helmet. Low ricochet chance, tier 4. But I believe it's this one. Is this it? No, it's this one. This one is normally a little cheaper. You get the same, it's aluminum, so it's a little less protection, but it's head protection, so it's not like you're tanking out a lot of shots anyways. You're getting, if they're the same ammo as your armor, you're getting one shot. If it's, you know, or you're tanking one shot and then getting killed on the second one. Yeah, I don't see the big difference here. A higher ricochet chance though, medium instead of low. So I don't see any reason not to go with the KSS Tactical. And I will throw that on with a tier 4 mask. So that's my preferred tier 4 helmet. And then again, I'm usually running this with GS2s, but take your pick. If you want to drop down to the mediums, do your thing. Okay, other than this, I do think that a decent option, especially on the lockdown, is to run the Alton or the Matsuka in this game, I believe it's called. I don't think it's a great option in Forbidden. I think in Forbidden you're going to get one tapped in the head with an Alton on anyways, so you might as well run Ricochet helmet. But Lockdown, not a terrible choice where people are running tier 4 ammo most of the time. I don't prefer to wear these because of the severe sound blocking, but it does have high ricochet chance. If you are going to run this, I think you should keep a 2x2 slot open in your bag or in your rig so that you can stop and take off the helmet, listen, throw it back on. So keep that in mind. As far as armor goes, okay, there's a couple different options here. I think the best option, and I would recommend that get on the market and get these like new, or even worn. Like, so like, I don't know the exact math behind it, but you can get this armor right here. Is it this one or this one? Sorry, it's this one. This one has a little bit less movement speed penalty. You can get this armor for 200,000 worn on the market, and it comes at like 55 Dura, which is the same Dura as if you were to wear an armored chest rig, one of these armored chest rigs here. I gotta remove this actually. if you're gonna wear this armored chest rig here, 55. Okay, so to me that's equal. I don't know if the hardened steel gets more protection by having more Dura, or if it gets more protection even if it has the same Dura, does it have more protection? If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. There's not a good way to test like low Dura armor in this game because all you can really test on is the dummies inside the game. So if anyone does know the answer to that question, I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. But you can pick up this armor for 200,000 worn on the market. You can pick it up for 240 like new. I mean, take your pick. I kind of usually do the like new, but totally up to you. So if I'm going to body armor, this is usually my pick. Hardened steel, best protection in the game. Upper, lower abdomen, chest, minus 10% move speed. Okay. You can go the more movement speed. I know people do like these. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, you're not getting the lower abdomen protection. Like new, you're going to get them similarly priced. So if you're really about the movement speed, if the ergo and the movement really hurts you, use these as well. I mean, totally up to you, and it's just a trade-off. Movement speed for protection. So the other options, and especially when I'm feeling lazy, when I don't want to go on the market and like do all that, if I just want to click something and hit buy, a lot of times I'm just taking the warrior. Okay, it's definitely not as good protection. Composite is not as strong as hardened steel in this game, but you got less movement speed penalty. You still have the upper abdomen, so in my opinion, this is still a little bit better than the high movement speed. But you do have some ergo knockoff. The last one we looked at was -1. This one's -7. So, but the warrior, if you buy it brand new, is like 250, 260. And if I'm feeling real lazy and I don't want to go on the market, I'll just click this because you get a hell of a rig. Like, you will not believe how many times in this game you want just one more 2x2 slot, and for this to have two 2x2 slots, I feel like you can get out a lot more. You kill someone, take their helmet, you can't carry all the helmets because they don't fit in your bag. So the 2x2s do make a difference, and to buy a rig that has two 2x2s, it kind of makes up for the price of buying the armor at 260, because I think the cheapest rig with a 2x2, I'm not even sure which one it is with two 2x2s, but I think it's like 80,000 or 100,000. So if we got 45, okay, so 100,000 for a rig with a 2x2. This is very similar to what we were talking about. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's worth it sometimes, especially if you don't feel like getting on the market and picking up, and if you need more rig space. So something to think about. You can also get all three of these on barter from the contact for much cheaper. And at that point, I think all three of them are probably at least just worth running. The ceramic, it doesn't repair well, but it actually has very high protection. And the composite is just like the most middle of the line, average kind of, like, for all purposes, like for the movement speed, the ergonomics, the weight, the protection, everything is just kind of right in the middle, so it's a very average armor. So it's very, very worth wearing. So really all three of these you can get away with. If you get them on the barter, you'll get them much cheaper. All three worth wearing. So yeah, if I'm wanting more space, I'm going on with this. If I'm not too pressed about space, I'm going in with this on the like new barter. And then bag, again, is just going to depend on my situation. If I need to get in with lots of space, I'm taking a bigger bag. If I need less space, I'm taking a bit littler bag. It really doesn't matter. Okay, and then I will briefly touch on if I were going to run tier 6. I don't do this. I don't recommend doing this, but if I were going to, this is what I'd run. Just because of the price, I would probably just run the tier 6 rig. Where's it at? Here. Cheapest tier 6. Chest and upper abdomen, not bad movement speed, ergo. And it is ceramic, so it has high protection but less repairability. So, kind of, You get what you pay for, right? It's probably why it's a little cheaper, but I just can't justify $1 million for any of these armors. So, and then as far as a helmet goes, if I'm going tier 6 chest rig, I'm just balling out all tier 6. And I think the best tier 6 helmet would be the SH65, mainly for the high ricochet chance and the low sound blocking. I think it's the best helmet in the whole game, probably. And then just run the tier 6 mask with it, and there you go. There's your tier 6 setup. Don't buy it. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know in the comments if you guys don't agree or if you guys have any other thoughts to add into this video. You know, everyone has their own view, and someone else might know something that I don't know. So, anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.